Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Dulce Mom Life. For those of you that are new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when a new video is up. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your support. We're almost at 500, so I am super duper excited. Never thought that we would get here so soon, so it makes me really excited that we are almost at 500. So thank you very much for all of you that support and continue to come back and watch my videos. It means a lot to me. So for those of you that do follow me, if you followed me on Snap or on my Twitter or even on my Insta, you guys would have seen that my Snap and Insta got deleted and everything, so I had to redo all of it. And I last uploaded a video on Father's Day because all of that kind of caused me some anxiety a little bit from it. And so therefore I decided to do a video on it. My phone. So my daughter did this. I will let you guys know all about this in a little bit. So let me rewind a little bit so you guys can kind of have a backstory on this. So I had my son when I was really young. I was about 19 when I had my son, and then I had my daughter a year later, and I suffered really bad postpartum with her. I think it was because they were so close together. Studies show that if you have kids when you're at a young age and when you have them, you know, less than 2 years apart, that could lead to postpartum, and it did. It led to a really bad postpartum with my daughter, and after that led to me having anxiety, I believe from postpartum after that. I never sought medicine or anything for postpartum. I went to therapy instead, and that really helped. And then years later, I would say about 3 years later, I went back to therapy because I thought that my ADHD was kicking in much more and I needed to be on medication. I knew I had ADHD growing up, but I was able to manage it where I didn't need medication. But when I was in college, I felt like I really did need it, and I didn't go back to college till my kids were born. So I went back to therapy and I saw a psychiatrist, and then that's when they said yes, that I did need medication for my ADHD, but that I also was suffering from anxiety. Mind you, I thought everybody suffered from anxiety. I'm like, you know, I didn't really think about it, and I actually was really anxious about the diagnosis because I was then diagnosed as I had generalized anxiety disorder. I honestly thought everybody felt this way. I had panic attacks a lot, and I literally was kind of in denial of it because I think because I thought that everybody went through it. I literally felt like I was having a heart attack, and my whole body would just feel so hot, and I just felt like my face would feel flushed. There were moments when I was in college that I would give myself really bad anxiety attacks that it felt like I was having contractions, like I was having a baby. It would bring me to the ground. It was just really bad, and certain things would trigger it, like tests, for examples, would trigger it. Or when I transferred to a 4-year university, I remember the first day of school, I was so anxious that I actually came home and I was covered, and I mean covered, in hives. And it was nothing that I had ate. It was just the anxiety had completely taken over, and it was just really bad. So my doctor, she's a psychiatrist, put me on anxiety medication, and it was able to be controlled a lot better. I then became pregnant with my my daughter, my third daughter, and I was really scared that I was gonna suffer from postpartum. Mind you, there was a 4-year gap, which I felt that really helped with the postpartum because I did get it, but not as bad, and it wasn't for very long. It was perhaps for like about a week, and it wasn't, you know, to the extreme that I had it with my second child, because it was really bad with her. Like, when I mean bad, it was really bad. I had baby blues really bad. I didn't really want to hold her. I didn't feel like a mom, and it felt horrible that I didn't feel like it, like, you know, how I did with my son. And it, you know, eventually went away, but I was in fear that with my daughter, when I had Isabel, that it was going to happen again. And thank God it didn't happen. And I was able to, you know, still go to school. I was still able to function on a daily basis. And that was wonderful. So fast forward 8 years later, and I have been able to, you know, function on a daily basis. Not saying that I didn't have bursts of anxiety at moments, but I haven't really had, anxiety attacks like I used to with the medication that I had been on. But then I become pregnant, and I got a little nervous, and I got off of my medication once I found out I was pregnant, and then unfortunately something really bad happens and I end up miscarrying. So then I ended up miscarrying, and that was probably one of the most saddest moments of my life. And I didn't really know how to cope, and I just didn't want to try again, to tell you the truth. But we tried again, and I said if I didn't become pregnant in this time frame, that I didn't want to try again, and that was it, because I didn't want to like feel that way anymore. And I got pregnant with MJ, my youngest, and actually that brought on a lot of anxiety. I never got back on the anxiety medicine because I knew that I was going to try again to get pregnant. So I didn't get on it. The anxiety of not knowing if this pregnancy would be like the one I just had was nerve-wracking. I literally worried about everything from the moment that I found out I was pregnant again till I gave birth. Everything made me nervous. I remember when I heard her first heartbeat, I literally melted and cried, because it was one of the most wonderful moments I'd ever had experienced. And mind you, I have 3 kids prior to MJ. But after you deal with a miscarriage, it changes your life. It really does, drastically. So when I heard her first heartbeat at the doctor's office, I think it was when she was like 5 or 6 weeks pregnant, it was just like music to my ears. So I tried as hard as I could to eat healthy, to do everything that the doctor suggested for me to do, just so I could have a healthy and, you know, the most healthiest pregnancy I could. And 9 months later, I have a beautiful, beautiful little girl, MJ. We call her MJ, but her full name is Madeline Juliet. So I worried that I would suffer from postpartum. I knew I wanted to breastfeed because not only is it really healthy for her, but it's also healthy for the mom. And I had done a lot of research stating that breastfeeding really helped with postpartum. So I said, fantastic, I'm going to try that. And 19 months later, I'm still breastfeeding MJ. We're both kind of like addicted to it, because the bonding that you get with breastfeeding is just wonderful. Sorry, I gotta fix the lighting. Okay. It's just wonderful, the bonding that occurs. And we are now trying to self-wean, if you haven't seen my other videos on it. But, you know, it's been going really well. So why my phone? You probably will ask, and why was I not posting, and why was I anxious about the stuff that had been erased? Well, I'll tell you why. So a person that suffers from anxiety, it's not rational on the stuff that we sometimes, worry about or anxious about. It's nobody really understands it unless you have anxiety. So here it goes. I don't have really that many friends. I have a lot of acquaintances. I have a lot of people that I would be able to be, do chit chats with. That's just the type of person I am because I suffer from anxiety. I don't tend to go out a lot. And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of my friends, I guess you would call them, don't get it. They think I'm trying to be antisocial or whatever, and it's really not that, because I want to take my kids everywhere with me, and a lot of times they don't want to have my kids there or even their kids there. They want to have their own mommy time, which is completely understandable if you can do it. I just feel more comfortable having them there. I actually have more anxiety when my kids are not there, or at least when my youngest is not there with me, next to me, because I am completely afraid that something is happening. And that's just the irrational thinking that a person that has anxiety goes through. It's just the way it is. And I feel more comfortable with her there. Once she gets older, the anxiety kind of goes down, but at the moment, that's just the way I'm living. And sometimes people don't understand, and that's fine. I don't ever say that you have to live the way I do, and I don't ever want you to feel uncomfortable, or any of my friends feel uncomfortable for me taking their kids, and they don't have their kids. So I prefer not to go out to a lot of, I prefer not to go out because of that, in social settings that my kids are not able to go. So then let me fast forward a little more. I took my daughter and my other kids for a stroll at the park, and my 19-month-old, I feel like already is hitting terrible twos, is having tantrums a lot more, and it gives me some anxiety, especially when she's having it in public, because nobody wants to hear a child screaming at the top of their lungs, when they're trying to relax or whatever at the park. I don't know. So I'm trying to put her in the stroller, and she's having this conniption. She doesn't want to be in the stroller, which I probably should have taken it as a sign and had her just walk with me instead of putting her in the stroller. But I didn't want her to think that whatever she wants, she gets, because I don't want her to, think that way. So I'm trying to put her on the stroller, and then my phone all of a sudden goes, woo, and it literally just lands face down, and I can literally still hear the cracking, and it went face down right on the concrete, and then this is what happened. I was like, no. I literally wanted to just turn back around, grab the stroller, grab MJ and the kids, and put them in the car and just go home. But I knew that wasn't the right way. I mean, it's not like she meant to do it or any of that. So I'm like, no, I'm just going to exercise and get this feeling that I have, because I was already anxious, I was mad, I was upset, get it out of my system, because one, I need the fresh air, and exercising will really help me. So I ended up doing that. But then everything got erased. My Instagram, my Snap, everything got erased, and it became actually very upsetting to me, because I've met really awesome people through YouTube, and because of YouTube, they have followed me in either my Snap or my Twitter or my Instagram. I don't think nothing got erased from my Twitter account, but just my Snap and my Insta. So I was really upset, because since I've met such awesome people, I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to find you guys again. And I feel like some of you moms out there kind of understand me and the struggles that I kind of go through. Maybe not, you know, to the T, but you completely understand of the struggle of, you know, either suffering from anxiety or having children that you're always doing something for. And I've been able to communicate that, and YouTube has really helped me with it, and the friendships that I have made through YouTube has been absolutely wonderful. So not having that actually gave me anxiety, so I stopped posting because I needed to kind of get it together, see what I needed to do, and be able to kind of like take a breather and know that, you know, there is a solution to everything. So I did. I went back, I, you know, re-downloaded everything and kind of restarted fresh. And kind of that's where I am now. And I wanted to let you guys know kind of a little bit of my backstory of maybe why I haven't been posting. And if you ever see that there's moments that I might not be like completely on it, it's because sometimes, you know, it might not be the best day, but I am going to try 100% to try to post more. I can't guarantee that I'll post regularly because I'm not there yet. I would love to know how you mom vloggers that have children do it. I wish I could, and I mean, I have a lot of stuff I could be doing, but right now, because my MJ is going through this completely toddler tantrums more and more, it's much harder to hold a camera and, you know, hold her while she's going through this. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed my little story time. If anybody else suffers from it, make sure you comment down below. Let me know what you do to deal with it. Sorry if my lighting keeps changing. The sun keeps coming and going, so that's what's happening. So don't forget to subscribe, guys. Make sure you hit that like button. And until next time, my dulce people.